When you slip and fall at a store and it's not your fault, or maybe you've been prescribed a medication your doctor knows will do more harm than good, you have the chance to sue. James Roane with Roane Law is here answering your personal injury questions today. If you have questions, just text them to us at 336-379-5775. Mr. Roane, thanks so much for joining us today. The first question is, what does it mean to be a personal injury attorney, and what are some of the cases that you take?
Well, personal injury is what it sounds like. It's an injury to your person, to yourself. It can be, like you mentioned, a slip and fall, car wrecks, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse. Those are the typical types of areas where you've suffered an injury to the body, and us attorneys will seek a recovery for bills, lost wages, and that kind of thing.
Is there a certain type of lawsuit that you see most commonly out of all of those options you just gave?
Yeah, it's car wrecks. I mean, all of us have been in a car wreck before, and if you have been, it's kind of difficult to deal with the insurance companies. Their job is to take premiums and then pay out as little as possible. So we can often be in for a fairly complicated fight. And it's those motor vehicle cases that we see the most, because it also brings up some other issues like underinsured motorist coverage, whether or not you can stack vehicle policy, liability policies from other family members. And then maybe the defendant was drunk, and sometimes we can pursue a bar. Wherever liability lies, we can build a case for you.
Oftentimes, and Two wants to know, we investigate stories, and we do consumer issue stories, and we'll often hear from people who've been in car accidents who are having difficult times trying to get a hold of the insurance company on the other side. Why is it that there is such a disconnect there?
Well, they make money by not paying it out. They actually take your premiums and invest it in the stock market, and that's how they make them. So their favorite tactic is just delay. I don't know how much free time y'all got. I don't have a lot. And you call them, and you call them, and you call them, and you're not getting anywhere. And they bank on that because there's a large percentage of claimants that would just drop their case or settle for too little. So that's their main strategy. They want to drag it out, so you let it go.
One of the most common questions that we get with regards to your profession is, if I fall in a parking lot like a grocery store, maybe at the mall, can I sue somebody, and what are the circumstances surrounding that?
Well, that's hard. Now, that's a tough question. I've taken a lot of these cases, and the answer is you can always sue. The real question is, you're going to win. Because in North Carolina, we are a contributory negligence state. Contributory negligence means if you contribute to your own injuries, you cannot recover. You get zero. And that's tough when it comes to slip and falls, because the defense, the insurance companies, will argue that you should have seen that puddle or you should have seen the ice. So even if they're at fault for not cleaning it up, they'll blame you for not seeing it and stepping around it, etc. So it's hard. It's a hard law. It's a tough law. And a lot of these insurance companies will appeal those cases. I've had some of these cases go to the Court of Appeals. So the long short of it is, you can always file suit because people who own the premises have an obligation to keep it safe. If they were just clean up their spills, then this wouldn't happen in the first place. But there's also a rule that says that you've got to pay attention where you're going. And if you don't, you're not going to be able to file suit successfully.
As you know, there are now surveillance cameras really just about anywhere you go. Whose side does that help more?
Personally, I think it helps plaintiffs the most. A lot of times they'll say that we're not paying attention, that plaintiffs are on their cell phones or playing or running, and that's not the case. We're just walking, and it's hard to see black ice that somebody has known about but didn't put any salt down or didn't address it. So a lot of times surveillance will help us in that regard. Another factor will be in motor vehicle cases. Sometimes we have significant car wrecks that are in front of gas stations or other areas with outdoor surveillance, and you wouldn't believe some of the stuff that I had found. You can see that the defendant was actually greatly speeding, excessive speeds, out of his lane, or whatever. So typically it helps us. At the end of the day, We just want the truth, and surveillance is a great help for that.
Can a personal injury lawsuit apply if you got hurt at work, for example?
Kind of. It's not the same kind of personal injury. You cannot sue your employer in North Carolina. Well, the general rule is you cannot sue your employer. You have to file a workers' comp claim. And in my firm, I have a workers' comp specialist, and most firms in the area do. And what they do is file a claim with the Industrial Commission, because you're not supposed to file suit in civil court. Instead, you'll have your court heard by deputies in the Industrial Commission, and they will determine things like your average weekly wage, what type of injuries you have, and determine what you're entitled to recover there. But you're typically not allowed to file suit against your employer for a injury while you're on the job.
All right, Mr. Roane, one segment down, one more to go. If you've got questions, we would love to hear them and get them answered for you. You can text them in 336-379-5775 or take a quick break, and we'll be right back.